Great. Okay. Well, I think we're ready to start. And just want to say good morning and welcome for today. And we're here joining with ACORN McMaster Student Union and Mohawk Student Associations. And it's a press conference ahead of the planning meeting, the planning committee meeting today. My name is Veronica Gonzalez, and I'm the chair of ACORN's Mountain Chapter. ACORN is a community. It's a community and tenant union. We fight for social and financial justice at all levels of government. We have been organizing in Hamilton since 2017. We have 3 chapters, downtown, east, and mountain. Our main goal, our main local citywide campaign have focused on affordable and livable housing. I'll pass it to Ruth from Mohawk College Association.
Hi, yeah, thanks, Veronica. So my name is Ruth. I am the Vice President of Internal Affairs at Mohawk College at the MSA. So the MSA is an organization run by students for students, and it seeks to support Mohawk students academically and socially through various initiatives, including the one being brought forward today. So I'll pass it on to Siobhan.
Awesome. Thank you, Ruth. Hi, folks. I'm Siobhan, and I'm the Vice President Education for the McMaster Students Union. Similar to the MSA, we're working here today to provide safe and affordable housing to students and also to folks in wards 1 and 8. I will pass it on to Ruth.
Okay, so what we're going to do is talk about the housing issues kind of pertaining to each individual organization. So for the MSA, rental housing by Mohawk College is often done in small homes that have been divided into smaller rooms and apartments, especially in Ward 8. So sometimes this is done safely and sometimes it's not. And sometimes it's not even maintained properly. So there is often not an enforced standard for this. So affordability and safety are 2 concerns that Mohawk students have that could be addressed by this pilot or by the hoped expansion of the pilot in the future, because our students don't just live in Ward 8, they live throughout the city and beyond. Licensing is a low-cost initiative to provide an effective element of accountability from the landlord to the renter. So that's why we support this pilot. All right, I'll pass it on to Siobhan.
Thank you, Ruth. So even just to provide a little background information for why we're here, today ACORN, the MSU, and the MSA will be delegating to the Planning Committee in support of the City of Hamilton moving forward with landlord licensing pilot for low-density rentals in wards 1, 8, and part of Ward 14. We've been working together the past month to ensure tenant voices will be heard at the committee. We're briefly going to go over some of the issues with the MSU, starting with some of the affordability compared to the quality of the home and the utilities offered. Additionally, unresponsive landlords and property management continue to be a problem in Ward 1. The lack of safety precautions like working smoke detectors, broken handrails, and door locks, as well as high volume of people living in a shared unit have been flagged by students over the past few years. In a survey conducted by the MSU in spring of 2021, students emphasized the importance of feeling safe as a key driver for where they choose to live, with aspects like overcrowding and adequate size contributing to this. In that same survey, most students noted that affordability was very important, with $600 being the limit for monthly rent. The MSU supports the property licensing in an effort to preserve pre-existing units and maintain affordable renting prices. McMaster students have also noted the importance of accountability within a rental agreement. Over 35% of MSU members who responded to the 2021 survey reported that having a responsive landlord was one of the most important factors in selecting a house. And I will pass it on to Veronica.
Thanks, Siobhan. So ACORN sees 2 threats to Hamilton's market affordable housing stock. One is substandard housing, similar to the experience in student housing. Landlords are not doing basic repairs, pest control, and common area maintenance. This has significant impacts on health and the well-being of tenants. Tenants are forced to stay because they cannot afford to move. Number two is displacement, renoviction. When a landlord claims they need all the tenants out to do major renovations, the goal is to get the existing tenants out, most of the time on fixed incomes, and the new tenants in at a higher rent. Demoviction. This is when a landlord plans to demolish a building or part of the building and wants all the tenants out. These predatory tactics are increasing homelessness, causing tenant displacement, drives up rents in neighborhoods, and destroys Hamilton's affordable housing stock. So what the staff report said and why we support the pilot project. So unfortunately, the staff report recommends not going ahead with the pilot project at this time and pushing any discussion towards licensing to 2023. This is not acceptable. The crisis of the substandard housing in Hamilton has been known for years. Landlords licensing has a tool to ensure landlords are keeping their properties in good repair and are safe, has been discussed as far as back as 2013 with the reaction of rental housing subcommittee in 2015. Now it is 2021. The tenants have been waiting a long time and have been vocal about the issue they're facing. It is very disappointing to see the landlords' lobbies claims against licensing referenced heavily in the report. Other jurisdictions in Canada have used the municipal tool of licensing for years. New Westminster, BC has used it since 2004 and recently updated the program to also include protection for renovations. London, Ontario was the first in the province passing a program for low densities in 2009, and just this year voted to look at expanding it to higher density apartments. Many Hamilton businesses require a license to ensure public safety and consistency, and these are usually for places you only spend a short amount of time. Grabbing a taxi, eating at a restaurant, as an example. We need our homes to be safe and healthy, where we sleep, eat, raise our family, and work. Now is not the time to hit a pause and wait to see how things go. Things are bad now, and we need action now. I'll pass that back to Siobhan. Thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. So I'm going to be touching a bit on why the current system isn't working. To start off, the current system is complaints-based, and it puts the burden on tenants to put that complaint in. Tenants need to know who to call, and they often require internet access to get to that phone number. Tenants have had to call multiple departments for those issues. So you might have to call public health for some pest control, bylaw, property standards, electrical safety authority, or the fire department. Tenants fear repercussions of contacting bylaw, as the landlord could retaliate. There's often a language barrier. When the city does do compliance orders, it takes far too long, and it often fails to get the results we're looking for. Landlords aren't required to hire licensed professional contractors to do repair works. Bylaw officers' dress code can also be intimidating, and if they're responding to a noise complaint, they often dress like police officers. There are no protections against renoviction. And from the student perspective, students don't have the time, and we're not familiar with the municipality, as we often come from another city to attend McMaster or Mohawk, and we're not familiar with industry jargon and tenant rights. And with that, I'll pass it to Ruth.
Thanks, Siobhan. So what is the pilot proposing? So the types of rental housing units that would be subject to a rental housing license would include single-family dwellings, two-family dwelling, or three-family dwelling, semi-detached dwelling, and multiple dwellings containing 4 dwelling units. All secondary dwelling units existing or created in the pilot project area that are for rental purposes will also be included. So the pilot would be for 2 years. So while many students do live in these wards to be close to McMaster and Mohawk campuses, other vulnerable tenants also call these wards home. So newcomers, families with children, low-wage workers, they all make up this community. So landlords would pay an annual fee of just under $300, so $292 to receive a license to operate. All units must comply with the Building Code Act, Fire Protection Act, Electrical Safety Code, Property Standards Bylaw, and zoning. If landlords are not meeting these standards, they must bring their properties into compliance. So the purpose of the program is for the city to have access into the home to ensure the housing is safe. The report states that recent updates to the city's property standards to include more health and safety issues tenants face as one good reason to delay licensing. While the improvements to property standards are good, it still doesn't mean landlords will be following them. The licensing will kind of ensure that. All right, I'll pass it on to you, Veronica.
Thank you, Ruth. ACORN, MSA, and MSU, along with other allies, are delegating today and are asking for the councils to pass the landlord licensing pilot project. This is an important step forward to protecting tenants and keeping our communities safe, but more must be done and faster action must be taken. The pilot must get us closer to having a citywide program. Tenants in all wards deserve to know that their home is safe and well maintained. ACORN, MSU, and MSA and our allies will continue to push on this issue and defend our communities from absentee, neglectful, and predatory landlords. I want to thank you now, and we'll take any questions anybody has in regards to this matter.